walking the path of integrity, forever embracing a life in balance, standing tall and confident, leaders in the classroom, community, and field of play, with clear vision and a full heart, looking to the future, devoted to the student athlete, representing the Northeast, diverse in composition, united by our values, determined by nature, uncompromised by choice. We are the NE10.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Raw Sports Center for Game 2 of our NE10 Now doubleheader. St. Mike's and Assumption take two. Thriller with the women. St. Mike's winning in come-from-behind fashion, 77-69. Now we'll see the men go toe-to-toe for the second time this season. And if it's anywhere near as good as the first time they met, we're in for a good one. The only other meeting this season saw St. Mike's win in Worcester, 82-81 in overtime back on November 28th. Just looking at the starters for Assumption, Matthew Kelly, Michael Spate, Cal Connolly, Damian Rice, and Patrick Fleming. No seniors, you may note, in that group for Assumption. And now we see the primarily senior starting lineup introduced for St. Mike's, beginning with Derek Cheatham. This group of seniors, again, seniors making up 4 of the 5 starters, were honored just moments ago at the Senior Day ceremony. Levi Holmes III will also be starting at guard. Jalen Hall also starting as well. He's been kind of a sixth man off the bench, but gets the start, gets the Senior Day honors today. Jordan Guzman also out there to start. He is a junior who's really come on lately, averaging 14.3 points while shooting 44.4 from the floor his last 4 games. Winston Jones II, the big man, who is coming off a double-double last Saturday at Franklin Pierce, rounding out the starters for St. Michael's College. So again, hello and welcome to campus here at St. Mike's in Colchester. A beautiful Saturday afternoon. I'm Craig Durham. Happy to have you with me and looking forward to our halftime show when we'll be joined by St. Michael's College President Lorraine Sterrett. So do stay tuned at halftime for an interview with President Sterrett. But now we'll focus our eyes on the court as we're ready for the jump ball to get us started. Nearly identical records. 6-18 are the Greyhounds, 6-16 are the Purple Knights, and after a few hands touch it, the ball winds up in possession of Jalen Hall. Hall will carry it across the center court stripe and start us off with a pass to his right. And no time wasted as Levi Holmes goes up and buries the jumper to get us started on this, again, beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon. Matthew Kelly will take it up court for Assumption. Kelly, a sophomore, averaging a team-high 14.5 points a game. They work the ball down low to the Australian, Damian Rance. Back up top to Kelly. Kelly steps inside the three-point arc, but his jump shot is short, and the rebound is worked to Guzman. He takes it up court, crosses over to the left hand, gives it up to Holmes. Back to Guzman, and they'll slow it down with Jalen Hall, who seems to, at least from the outset, be running the show offensively. Good strong take by Cheatham, and he earns himself a trip to the line. Cheatham, who's been such an important part of this program for the last 4 years, is having a career year, career highs in points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game. He leads this team in steals, in block shots, and he buries his first free throw attempt to put the Purple Knights ahead by 3, less than a minute into the 20-minute first half. Second free throw up and in, and a 4-0 early lead for St. Michael's College. St. Mike's looking to earn a victory for just the 3rd time in the 2019 calendar year. Last victory coming on February 6th, an 82-72 win over Southern New Hampshire University. Now again, it's Assumption with the ball. Assumption in blue with white numerals and white trim. St. Mike's in the home whites with purple and gold mixed in throughout the look. And a backcourt violation will turn it over to the Purple Knights. And not a good start for Assumption. The Greyhounds have dropped 6 in a row, and they have just 2 wins outside, or I guess 2 wins on the road this year. Some neutral site contests mix in as well, so you can't say they just have 2 wins away from Worcester, but 2 wins on the road. So St. Mike's would do well to keep pouring it on here early. Holmes, couple of head fakes, then drives, pulls up, hands it off to Cheatham, who elevates and has his jumper rim out. Rebounded by Kelly. Kelly's going to push the pace and try and drive in on Hall, who moved his feet well and blocked the lane. Now dribbled over to the left side. Passed off to Spate. His long-range shot no good, but an uncontested offensive rebound for Fleming. Fleming back to Spate, and Kelly will let it fly. Too strong. Changes hands a few times. Big block coming in from behind was Winston Jones II. Blocking it out of bounds. It looked for a moment as if Patrick Fleming was going to be able to go up and put Assumption on the board. Winston Jones said no. Now Fleming has it again. He dishes inside, and a little floater won't go for Rance. So here comes St. Mike's with a 4-point lead and the ball looking for more. Guzman crosses over from the paint, dishes to his right, and now Cheatham will knife towards the basket and go up off glass, no good. So Kelly, again, sprinting up court, now hands it off in the corner. Shot fake and then a drive resulting in a blocking foul on Winston Jones II. Don't believe there was any intent to shoot on that drive for Cal Connolly, the freshman. So the ball will be brought in from beneath the basket. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Fleming gives it to Rance, and now Kelly for three. It's good. So really nothing going right for the first 2.5 minutes for Assumption, but with one shot, it's a 1-point game. Hall taking his time, bringing it up court. Now he'll try moving the ball to the left. Jones hands it back to him. Bounce pass to Holmes. Holmes working on Kelly. Turnaround jumper, no good. Rance flies in and securely grabs the rebound. Gives to Kelly, who has a lane. Tries to draw contact. He winds up on the floor, but he gets just 2 points. Still enough to put Assumption in front, 5-4 in the very early going. Now the ball on the right wing side. Guzman gives it to Jones. Jones, who likes to flash high and serve as a conduit from side to side. Now heads down towards the basket. Guzman with the ball. Calling for a pick. Jones is there, but doesn't, in fact, lay his body out. Still, Guzman able to get to the basket and drop it in with the right hand. Nice spin on the ball. Here comes Kelly, pushing it. Stops, gives to Fleming, back to Kelly. And again, such a contrast. 4 seniors and a junior in the starting lineup for St. Michael's College. 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and 2 juniors. That's your starters for Assumption. And there's Fleming knocking it down for 3. And the Greyhounds up by 2 at 8-6. Here's Hall. Hall to his right. Quick game of catch with Holmes. Second time they've run that little exchange, and now it's bobbled, lost by Jones. And Rance puts it in, plus the foul. He's going to the line, trying to make it a 3-point play and trying to give his team a 5-point lead, which a couple of minutes ago really seemed kind of unimaginable. Walker Story and Eli DeGrande check in. Hall and Jones will take their seats. Damian Rance, the junior from Melbourne, Australia. With his first free throw attempt of the day, it's good. And it's 11-6 Assumption. 4.5 minutes into the first half. So glad you've decided to join us for this NE10 Now broadcast. Foul called against Cal Connolly. The first foul against the freshman Connolly. 2 fouls aside. Guzman to inbound. It's passed around to Story. Story gets it to Holmes. Levi Holmes the third lets it go from deep. And he knocks it down. 2-point game. Holmes comes into today averaging 1/10 of 1 point shy of 20 a game. He put up 24.1 points per game last season. And again, 19.9 through his first 20 contests this season. He's off to a great start. Meanwhile, Kelly goes between the legs with the dribble. Nice work to get himself to the basket, get the open look, but he couldn't finish. And now it's a fast break. Here's Guzman. Nearly lost the handle, tries to go up with the right hand, can't get it to fall. From three-point range, Levi Holmes does it again. Back-to-back trays put the Purple Knights back in front, 12-11 your score. Very similar feel in the building from what we saw in game one of this doubleheader when it went back and forth between the St. Mike's and Assumption women's programs. Nice feed in the paint and a foul called. Spite was a little late coming in to defend. The nice pass into Eli DeGrande. And DeGrande will head to the line. DeGrande 6'7", 210-pounder from, just the other side of the road from Essex Junction, Vermont. Chance to put his team up by 3. And he does. 14-11, 14-10 to play. St. Mike's with the lead, Assumption with the basketball. Chris Crespo, the ball carrier, dishes to Rance. Rance will let it fly, and pretty touch for the big man, Rance, who's pacing the offense. He's averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds a game. Hall to his left to Cheatham. Cheatham swings it around the other side. They get it back to DeGrande. DeGrande is blocked by Rance. And then it looked like it deflected out of bounds off Chris Crespo's hand. Apparently not, as Crespo will receive the inbounds pass from Matthew Kelly. That is, if Kelly can get it to him. St. Mike's putting the pressure on. Kelly does wind up with it. And crosses over half court. His team down by 1. Up top, around to Kelly on the left side. Kelly back to Rance. Rance holds on to it, directs traffic, and hands it off to Kelly, who lets it go. A long 3. No good. Didn't touch anything on its way out of bounds, and it's St. Mike's basketball. With 13-13 to play in a 14-13 game. Jalen Hall, who started, kind of an unusual spot for him to be in, but after a quick break comes back off the bench. Gives it to DeGrande, takes the return handoff. Levi Holmes, the third, goes up and buries it. You see the touch on that shot from Holmes. And then you think about his eye-popping free throw numbers. He's 92% free throw shooter, and with a stroke like that, it's easy to understand why. As down on the other side, we see a foul called under the basket. Foul called against Jalen Hall, third on St. Mike's. Cheatham will catch a breather as Guzman comes back in. Michael Spate also coming back in. He comes in for Assumption in place of Cal Conley. Inbounded to Brian Bollert. Bollert gives it to Rance. And now it's Matthew Kelly working it over to the left side. Foul called on Guzman. And St. Mike's is going to have to be careful as there's a long way to go in this first half, and that's already 4 fouls on the team. Lobbed in to Rance, who from up over the top of his head feeds Bollert. Bollert spins, goes up with the right hand, rejected by Walker Story. Story starts the fast break. He goes up with the right hand, but that's an offensive foul. Tremendous work getting in position to take the charge by Chris Crespo, the freshman for Assumption. Crespo's going to need some help, and he finds it in the form of Spate. Spate hands it back to Kelly, who will bring it up court, working on Guzman. Now it's Rance. Rance almost took an extra step there. I don't think he was quite prepared to give up his dribble as quickly as he did. Now Kelly with the quick pass to his right. Spate holds on to it. 8 seconds on the shot clock, and Spate A teardrop jumper. Make it a 1-point basketball game, 16-15 in favor of St. Mike's. Purple Knights moving the ball well. And again, they go to that play on the right side. The quick pass from Hall to Holmes. And now Holmes has it back. Starts from the left and comes up with a jumper. Got his shoulders square to the basket. And got a little love on the way down. 18-15 St. Mike's. Spate for Assumption. Gives it to Rance. Rance will feature prominently in this game, if this first quarter is any indication. And a great job, teamwork there by Hall and Holmes to force the turnover. And now starting it up court is Jalen Hall. Hall transferred here prior to his junior year. He hangs out on the weak side, gets the pass back, and over to Holmes. Holmes having his way with Matthew Kelly here in the early going. He goes up over the top of Kelly, though that time it was short. And that has to feel good for Matthew Kelly, who not only forced the miss, but then came down with the rebound. And now timeout called by the Assumption Greyhounds. Off to a great start here, nearly halfway through the first half. It's St. Michael's College 18, Assumption College 15. You're watching NE10 now. Senior day here at St. Michael's College. One of the seniors honored in the pregame ceremony, Levi Holmes III. What a year he's having, averaging just about 20 points a game on 41.2% shooting, 43% from three-point range, and as we mentioned earlier, 92% from the free throw line. He's just marvelous when he gets airborne and gets a clean look at the basket. Takes a seat now. You can't imagine he'll stay seated too long. We'll see how the next few minutes unfold without Levi Holmes III on the floor. It'll be Assumption basketball here. Again, the Greyhounds trailing by 3. 18-15. Purple Knights out in front. 30 seconds shy of the 10-minute mark in this opening half. Good ball movement. Chris Crespo, the ball carrier. There's going to be a foul called on Derek Cheatham away from the ball as he grabbed a hold of Patrick Fleming on Fleming's way by. And already 6 fouls on St. Mike's versus 3 that have been whistled against Assumption. Michael Spate, pull up, long three-pointer, in and out. Rebounded by Jalen Hall. Hall's been everywhere for the Purple Knights here in the opening half. He looks to his right, finds Guzman. Guzman swings it around. It's back in Hall's hands. Hall down low to DeGrande. DeGrande in a pile of 4 Greyhounds went up with the shot. It was partially blocked out of bounds. It'll still be St. Mike's ball. And Jalen Hall will make the inbound pass. He gets it to DeGrande. DeGrande sends it up top. Winston Jones the second, getting it to his right. Now the drive, and Guzman gets it in, plus the foul. Jordan Guzman going to the line. He had a step on Fleming, and then used that right arm extension to sneak it past the much taller Patrick Fleming. But he's short on the free throw attempt, so it'll be just a 2-point play. St. Mike's ahead 20-15 as we've crossed the midpoint marker of this first half. Fleming with it. Fleming to Crespo. Crespo being guarded well by Winston Jones. He forces the turnover. Hall with the steal. He drops it off. The dunk is missed. Soaring in from what felt like the free throw line was Winston Jones the second. But he couldn't flush it down, and it turns into a 5-point swing as Matthew Kelly drains the tray. It's a 2-point lead for the Purple Knights. Really incredible no-look pass there gets lost. Should have been an assist for Jalen Hall. You got to credit the Greyhounds, too. Good team defense hustling back as Cheatham takes it in and finishes with the left hand. But on that fast break, Assumption could have quite easily just dropped their collective heads and watched 2 points go up on the board, but they wanted to contest that Jones attempt as much as they could. Well, they succeeded. Now it's handed off to Kelly. Kelly's letting it fly. That one rims out, collected by Guzman, and he brings it across half court. Good pass, finds DeGrande. DeGrande up with the right hand, he drops it in, plus a foul. 6-point lead for St. Michael's College, the largest of the day. And DeGrande will seek to extend that lead to 7. Jalen Hall will check out of the game. Levi Holmes, the third, back in. Free throw attempt, no good though. So it's still 6, 24-18. Greyhounds down a half dozen. With the ball, Crespo gets it to Rance. Damian Rance returns it to Crespo. Tried to roll back towards the low post. Now he has it along the baseline. Pass finds Spate. Spate's shot, no good. Rebound collected by Cheatham, who wants to push the pace, and he gets it to DeGrande, who dunks it down. 26-18, St. Michael's College. The Greyhounds will take it over half court and call timeout. We'll go to break. St. Mike's with a 26-18 lead. Check out the finish for Eli DeGrande. You look at the Assumption College Greyhound huddle. Assumption down 8, 26-18. St. Michael's College Purple Knights out in front. St. Mike's trying to sweep the season series away from the Greyhounds. The last one a thriller, 82-81. They needed overtime to decide it on November 28th down in Worcester. Comfortable lead in the early going here for St. Michael's College. And I guess now is as good a time as any to tell you probably my favorite stat coming into this game. St. Michael's College men's basketball program has an all-time record of 1,117 wins, 1,117 losses. So trying to go over 500 for a program history with a win here today. And who knows, you get over 500 now, you finish strong down the stretch. Maybe you never go back down in the future of the program, but there's a nice finish for Crespo, who's going to get himself to the line, count the basket. Fouls called on Levi Holmes III, and it'll be a three-point play attempt as Crespo takes the free throw line. Another freshman in this Assumption lineup. Two freshmen, two juniors, and a sophomore started versus four seniors and a junior starting for St. Mike's. Three-point play there. Makes it a 5-point game at 25-21. Guzman gives it to Story on his left. Cheatham right beside him. Dribbles to the right into the body of Rance. And now Guzman will start it over again. He's got just 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dribbling with the left hand, he gives to Cheatham, being guarded by Rance. He'll drive it inside, run into a second layer of defense, but still get it to go. Malik Brown stepped up with his arms raised. Really good defense. And Cheatham just willed it to go. Lead back up to 7, but already it's down low for Assumption. Good passing around the outside to Kelly. Kelly. Now it's up top to Spate for 3. And Michael Spate pulls his team back within 4. Just 6 fouls called on Assumption versus 7 for St. Mike's. So they can be a little bit more aggressive here, though they won't challenge Guzman, who buries the 3. To get St. Michael's over the 30-point hump, 31-24. Crespo to his left to Rance. Rance plays up top, down low. Now Spate drives, sidesteps the defense, but then has his pocket picked, and here's transition for St. Mike's. It's Holmes, count it, and 1. Fast start for Levi Holmes III. He's missed 1 shot in the early going, and right there he needed some finesse to adjust to the contact and still get it to go. A made free throw here would give St. Mike's a 10-point lead for the first time today. But it won't go. And that's the 3rd straight 3-point play free throw that has rimmed out. So the Purple Knights with the 9-point lead, but leaving a few points on the table. Nice job to save that pass by Cal Connolly. Connolly then gets it to Brown. Brown backing down Cheatham, kicks it out instead. Now as he lost the handle, he dishes to Rance. Rance's 3, no good. Rebounded by Connolly, back to Rance, up and under with the lay-in. Pretty play for the 6'7" Australian. The lead is 8 for St. Mike's. Guzman holding it onto it, gives it to DeGrande, who finds Levi Holmes. Holmes hops into the paint, goes up, kind of in between glass and swish, and as a result, Brown able to bear hug the rebound before dishing to Kelly. Kelly, the one-hand swing pass. I think the pass was intended to go back to him. It was intercepted by his teammate Malik Brown. Now Kelly works it around. Over to Rance. Rance finds Malik Brown, who's fouled on his way to the hole. Good strong take for the big man coming off the bench, and he heads to the line, trying to pull his team within 6. Under 5 minutes to play in the opening half. First free throw is good, and we'll use this opportunity to remind you to stick around for the halftime show, where we'll be joined by Lorraine Sterrett, first-year president of St. Michael's College, here to support her senior student-athletes, all her student-athletes, but especially the seniors in both men's and women's basketball programs, who today were honored in separate ceremonies ahead of their respective games. The women winning just about an hour ago. That one came to an end. It was a 77-69 win over the Assumption Greyhounds. And now St. Mike's with the ball on the attack. They work it around to Jalen Hall. Hall finds DeGrande, who drops it in from the baseline. Nice little jump shot to stretch the lead back to 6, 33-27. Kelly's pass to Malik Brown. Brown hands it off, underhand to Connolly. Shot bounces out. And then the foul on Malik Brown will put Assumption into the penalty. And okay, that's the 7th team foul. They announced that there was an unannounced foul in the previous possession, and that's why we're going to see some free throw attempts from Winston Jones II. The officials making sure all the coaches have things straight. Jones at the line. First one up, first one in. So let's do it again. And again, it's an opportunity for a 10-point lead. And there it is, 37-27. Incidentally, talking of free throws, the Purple Knight women's basketball team attempted 40 free throws in the first game today. They went 30 for 40 from the line, 30 of their 77 points coming one at a time. Now Kelly fouled up high. Doesn't matter where he's fouled right now, though. He'll still shoot two, as he was not in the act of shooting when Jalen Hall got a little too much skin. He'll shoot one. If he makes it, he'll shoot two, and he will. That foul on Hall, just his second today. 3 minutes, 59 seconds to play in the first half. And another made free throw makes it 37-29 in favor of St. Michael's College. Jalen Hall dribbles the ball, waits for the pick from DeGrande before giving to Cheatham, and now it's back in the hands of Hall on the right side. He gets it to DeGrande, goes up strong, off glass and in. Good finish. And the lead back to 10 for St. Mike's. Kelly, not the biggest guy on the floor, certainly one of the quickest. And we've seen he's got a real true shot. Now it's kicked out to a wide open Cal Connolly, who buries the three. That's a shot these Greyhounds needed badly. Hall starts on the far right wing side. Now takes a pass over on the left. St. Mike's yet to penetrate, but here comes Guzman on this possession. He dishes out to DeGrande. That three-pointer was halfway down before it popped out. And now with under 3 minutes to play in the opening half, another opportunity for Assumption to chisel away at what was at one point, just a few moments ago, a 10-point lead for St. Mike's. Here's Brown. Didn't really look like he knew what he wanted to do with it, so he gave to Kelly, who finds Connolly. Brown to Kelly. Kelly sidesteps the pressure, lets the three go. It's short, rebounded by Hall. Really good work by Matthew Kelly to free himself for that wide open look. Just didn't get quite enough on the shot. So here's Hall. Hall's pass intercepted by Kelly, who somersaults with the ball. It was eventually kicked out of bounds. Kelly's wondering why he's not going to the line, why there wasn't a foul called there. But they say in the chase after the ball, the two players just got entangled. And so it's only out of bounds. And here comes Kelly with it, 39-32. St. Mike's out in front. Kelly for Assumption. No look. Backhand pass. And a three-point basket for Damian Rance. That was pretty all the way around, and it's a 4-point game. Hall taking his time, bringing it up. Hands it off to Winston Jones II, who hands it off to Guzman. Guzman to DeGrande. DeGrande to Hall. And now Cheatham with it along the baseline. Fades back. Lets it go, barely gets the front of the rim. And now Assumption can close the gap to two. Driving and dropping it in is Matthew Kelly. It's a 2-point game with 89 seconds to play in the first half. St. Mike's ahead 39-37. We'll take a very short break and come right back with the rest of the first half. Matthew Kelly looking good. Inside a minute and a half to play in the first half of what has been a back-and-forth affair between St. Michael's College and Assumption College, 39-37. St. Mike's with the ball and the 2-point lead. Jalen Hall as he's been doing all day, really, running the offense for the Purple Knights. Dribbles with the left hand, pulls up, slides a bounce pass to Guzman. Guzman swings it around back to Hall, and now Cheatham. Cheatham into the paint, up with the left hand. No good. Fights for the rebound, gets it back, falling to the floor. It's off the back rim. And rebounded by Matthew Kelly, whose fast break layup just made it a 2-point game prior to the timeout. Kelly likes to shoot from deep. A three-pointer here would put Assumption out in front. Kelly with the ball. Just 12 seconds on the shot clock, 40 seconds left in the half. He swings it to Connolly. Connolly hands it off to Bollert, who buries it, and it's 40-39. Assumption out in front. What a comeback. It wasn't 5 minutes ago that St. Mike's had a 10-point lead. Guzman with the ball. He wants to work it all the way down. If St. Mike's runs the play clock down to 0, that would leave Assumption just 3-4 seconds to do something offensively. Here's Guzman spinning, driving to his right, gets it up top. Winston Jones, the second, has that three bounce out, but it comes to Guzman, who lets it go, and as time expires, the rebound is corralled by Connolly, and we're going to go into halftime with a 1-point game, and what a game at that. 40 for the Assumption College Greyhounds, 39 for the St. Michael's College Purple Knights. Stick around for our halftime show when we'll be joined by St. Michael's College President Lorraine Sterrett after this short break.
Walking the path of integrity, forever embracing a life in balance, standing tall and confident, leaders in the classroom, community, and field of play, with clear vision and a full heart, looking to the future, devoted to the student athlete, representing the Northeast, diverse in composition, united by our values, determined by nature, uncompromised by choice. We are the NE10.
Welcome back to the campus of St. Michael's College. It's halftime of a great game between the Purple Knights and the Assumption College Greyhounds. Assumption with a late run down the stretch in the first half to take a 40-39 lead. I'm Craig Durham, happy to have you along, and very excited now to be joined by first-year president of St. Michael's College, Lorraine Sterrett. Thanks for joining me here.
Oh, I'm delighted to join you. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Now, your first year on the job, I'm sure that comes with an endless amount of information to acquire, people to meet. How have you enjoyed getting to know this community and walking around and getting to know this beautiful campus?
It's been absolutely terrific. As you've probably realized, it's a very friendly place. From the faculty, the staff, the students, all the people on campus, and then all the people we interact with off campus, our alums, trustees. It's just a very friendly group of people, very down to earth, very unpretentious, and a very close-knit community. So it's been an absolute delight to get to know these wonderful Purple Knights.
Well, that's great to hear, and I know you have quite a background in academia. You've been at Stanford, at Harvard, at Penn. I heard you spent some time at Princeton. So you've really explored the United States, though you're originally from Ireland, that's right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Ireland, and then I came to this country in 1985 for the very first time on vacation. Actually, 1984, sorry. And visited New York and Boston, like all Irish people, and also Vermont. So the very first time I set foot in this country, I came to Vermont.
And how was that experience? Did you come to ski or did you come to see the leaves churn? What was it?
It was in the summer, and so I was just here on vacation. I distinctly remember driving up to Burlington from Boston, not knowing that some years later I would be living here. So, and it was my very first trip to this country, so it gave me a real taste of, in just a few weeks I was here, of different parts of America, from New York City to Vermont. So it was a wonderful cross-section.
That's great. And speaking of a wonderful cross-section, so many different athletic offerings as part of the St. Michael's College family. And it seems like there's a lot of student athletes who really excel not only in their given sport, be it basketball, hockey, soccer, what have you, but also outside of the lines of play and in the classroom. How proud are you of the way that your student athletes are able to live a life as both a student and an athlete?
Yeah, I'm just amazed at what they accomplish. They are terrific students, they're terrific athletes. They really organize their time very well, and I think that's the key. They're very disciplined. They work very hard on the court. We were just watching the women's game, and we won.
Yes.
And I've known Emily, who was just terrific in this game. I've known her since the very beginning, since she was on the search committee when I was hired. And I've watched her play, and I know that she's a terrific student. She's a scientist. She's doing research on bobcats. And that young lady just has it all.
Yeah, we were actually talking about her at length during that game, coming off another semester with a perfect 4.0 GPA. And seems like her entire tenure at the college, she's been, as you said, pushing the limits both in terms of basketball and in the world of science. It's really outstanding.
She's a superstar, and I was just talking with her parents a moment ago when we were celebrating with the women's team, and I was telling her mother that we're not going to let her leave.
She's the kind you want to keep around, I'm sure. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about your sporting background growing up in Ireland. I, for one, am not all that familiar about what young people grow up playing in Ireland. What was your childhood like, and how did you come to include sports into your life?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I played a little bit of field hockey. We call it hockey in Ireland, field hockey, and also netball. Mm-hmm. And those were basically the two choices. And I chose netball primarily because it was indoors, and outside in Ireland playing field hockey was pretty cold. So I played netball in high school. I loved it. It has some similarities to basketball, but it's also different in important respects. There are 7 people on the team, and depending on what your position is, you're only allowed into certain parts of the court, and only 2 people on the team can shoot.
Huh.
And I was one of those 2. My position was goal attack, so I was allowed into 2/3 of the court, and then I could shoot. And the goal shooter was only allowed into 1/3 of the court, and of course she could shoot also. And I don't think it's quite as fast as basketball. You don't get to run with the ball. When you have the ball, what you can do is take 2 steps and pivot, and then you have to pass the ball. So I think that slows it down a bit. It certainly didn't seem like a slow game at the time, but compared with basketball, I would say it's a bit slower. But a really fun game. So I played that in high school. And then I thought I would try out in college, and that did not go very well. So I was not good enough to play it in college. So I gave that up pretty early on in my first year in college.
So many of us can relate to that feeling of, I'm one of the better players at a certain level, and then you get to the next level and realize how good so many athletes are. An interesting point you raised by talking about netball, and we're talking here with Lorraine Sterrett, the first-year president of St. Michael's College. And those are 2 sports that you grew up playing in field hockey and netball, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're more geared towards women and girls. And we're just coming off a Women in Sports Day here in the United States, where you're witnessing just how far women have come in terms of their inclusion in sports like hockey. There's been a big rivalry series between the United States and Canada of women's hockey on display this weekend. And the opportunities just seem to keep increasing for female athletes. How proud are you as a woman, as a president of this university, and again watching the women's team win this afternoon, of how far women have come in sports?
Oh, it's amazing, even though I played sports in high school, as I said. Back then, we didn't have anything like the opportunities that young women have nowadays in sports. And so I think it's very empowering. I was just watching our women's team today, and far into the game, we were behind. But they had such stamina and stuck with it and really pulled it out just in the last few minutes. So even coming from a position of being behind, they had courage, and they didn't give up, and they were physically very strong. And I really, really admire them for that.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It was an excellent comeback, a huge victory, and it's always nice on a day where you honor some of your players for their contributions over the course of their career to follow that up with a victory in the given game as well. And certainly appreciate you sticking around to enjoy the men's game. I think you're going to want to stay till the end of this one, too.
Absolutely.
Because it looks like we're headed down to the wire as well. And while we don't have you on camera, it is certainly worth mentioning what you've got on your feet. These are some of the coolest golden boots I've ever seen with the glowing purple soles. We might have to find you when you go back down to the crowd and put at least your shoes on camera at some point during the second half.
Yes, these are my lucky shoes. They are gold high-top sneakers with purple lights around the edges. And actually, you can press a little button and change the color of the lights. There's about 7 different colors, but of course I only use the purple. And you have to plug them in to charge them up. So this is the first time in my life that I've ever had to use the sentence, "I need to charge up my shoes." And so I haven't figured out all the technology yet, but you can make a strobe light out of it, and you can have it change colors. But I just keep it the steady purple and gold to support our steady purple and gold players out there on the court.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, President Sterrett, for joining us here. A great day of basketball. I got to enjoy some of the hockey games as well. I'm really starting to understand just how tight-knit this community is, and I hope you enjoy your tenure here.
Thank you very much. It's been a terrific day. It's also the day when we have prospective students visiting. Our admitted students are visiting, and we have over 200 visiting students on campus today. So they get to see all this wonderful excitement in addition to the regular program that we had planned for them. So it's really been a day just full of energy.
I love it, and thank you so much for bringing your energy and your passion for your school up here at halftime.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, and that was President Lorraine Sterrett here at St. Michael's College as we head into the second half of what has been a really good basketball game between St. Mike's and Assumption College. It has been really 3 great halves of basketball, with the women's team winning in come-from-behind fashion in Game 1, and now the men's team with a 1-point deficit to overcome, if you can even really use that terminology, with a 1-point deficit as we begin the second half. Assumption in blue with white trim, white numerals going right to left, obviously with the first possession, and an air ball leading to a turnover to get us started. We're 12 seconds into the second half. Craig Durham, happy to have you with me for this NE10 Now production. I certainly hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. What a joy Lorraine Sterrett is, and clearly very excited to be here and a part of this St. Michael's College community. St. Michael's with the ball, and Levi Holmes III backing down a defender. It's Matthew Kelly who forces the pass up top. But that's where Jordan Guzman buries the three-pointer. And just like that, St. Mike's is back up by 2. Kelly starts the play with a pass to the left, and now up high, Damian Rance. Rance dishes to his left. Patrick Fleming tries baseline and ran into some resistance. Then on his return feed to the corner, the ball gets knocked out of bounds. Really prolific offense on display in that first half. Both teams shooting around 50%. In fact, St. Mike's shooting at exactly 50%, both on the whole and from three-point range. They were 15 of 30 from the floor, including 3 of 6 from three-point range. Interestingly enough, that success didn't really translate to the free throw line, where they were just 6 of 9. Assumption, meanwhile, shot at 48% from the floor overall in the first half, while also going 7 of 17 for 41% three-point clip. Now Cheatham trying to drop it in with the left hand, wouldn't go. Here comes Assumption. Off the rebound, Kelly drives and drops it in with the right hand. Nifty work. Not only does he get the layup in transition, but he gets himself to the line where he can try and snap this 42-42 tie. I mean, when you have a halftime score with just 1 point separating the two teams, you're going to see numbers that pretty much line up side by side. Kelly's free throw here is good, so it's a 1 point edge for the Greyhounds. But the rebounds in the first half, 18-15 in favor of Assumption. And assists, 7 for the Greyhounds, just 4 for St. Mike's. And it's not as if St. Mike's was playing selfish basketball, but the Greyhounds really were moving the rock around a little bit more. There's a pass here off the fingertips, and now on to Guzman, who lays it in. Good strong take. And for Jordan Guzman, that's 2 buckets in the second half, and he's in double-digit points on the afternoon. He had 7 in the first half, trailing only Levi Holmes III, who had 14. Levi Holmes was really on a mission in that first half. He was 6 of 9 shooting. But now it's Kelly. Kelly, who had 12 points in the first half, runs into Guzman, and then Holmes. Back to Rance, who lets it go as the shot clock was expiring, couldn't get the tray. And so it's Holmes driving into Rance, who went up with him, seemed to get a lot of ball, but some arm too. And Holmes goes into the crowd after the foul. First foul on the big man, Rance. Rance had 10 and 3 in the first half. Holmes to the line where he missed his only attempt. Shot up is good. 45-43. The guard from East Brunswick, New Jersey. Holmes entering today 8th in the all-time St. Michael's College points leaders board. Came in with just shy of 1,700 points in his career. He's over that figure now. And he's back defending here. To his right, Winston Jones II is guarding Rance. Kelly and Rance play catch. Rance gets Cheatham off his feet and then gets the blocking foul called on Guzman, who was the last layer of defense. And that's not where you want to be. Once Damian Rance has dropped his head and decided he's taking it to the basket, you don't want to be the last object between he and the hoop. Rance is listed at 6'7", 220. There's only 2 players on the Assumption roster who weigh in at a figure higher than 220 pounds. Rance good on his first free throw. And I'd really like to know the story, and hate to admit to you on the air that I don't, but I'd love to know how Damian Rance was recruited by Assumption College from the other side of the world. But Melbourne, I can tell you from experience, lived there for a year, it is a basketball crazy city. There is a lot of basketball talent there. I had friends who took coaching youth basketball as seriously as I've seen anybody take coaching anything seriously. And Damian Rance, clearly a good find for this Assumption team. He works on Cheatham, comes in to double. No, sorry, that was Holmes who went up with the left and got it to go. Oh, man. Sheer will and determination from Levi Holmes III. To get the basket, putting his team up 3. Matthew Kelly pushing it across. Once again, to his right, hands it off to Rance. And now it's Michael Spate. Rance into the paint, hops from side to side, then hands it off to Kelly. Little floater, not enough. Then Kelly was able to pop the rebound free from Eli DeGrande. But it's into Jalen Hall's hands. He drops it off for Levi Holmes III. Three-pointer spins out. Rance with the rebound, gives it to Kelly. Matthew Kelly, the bounce pass into Patrick Fleming. Fleming finds Bollert. Bollert passes up the 3 to swing it around to Spate. Spate's shot doesn't go. Second chance, that one from Bollert didn't go. And now it's Hall. He might settle things down here. Full 25 seconds on the clock. 15 and a half to play in regulation time. It's a 3-point game, and Winston Jones II will be going to the line after the strong take forces the foul. Jones was perfect from the line in the first half. Gets his first one of the second half to fall. Cal Connolly replaces Patrick Fleming, meanwhile, for the Greyhounds. How about those shoes on President Lorraine Sterrett? Oh, man. Golden high-top sneakers with light-up purple bottoms. We're going to see if we can find a shot maybe going into or coming out of a break as she's rejoined the crowd here at Ross Sports Center. 15:20 to play in the second half. 50-45. The Purple Knights out in front. Damian Rance falls as he dishes to his left. Driving and dunking it down is Brian Bollert. Jalen Hall takes it across half court, runs into trouble at the three-point line, swings it to his right, now has it back in the left wing corner. Up with the shot, blocked. And here come the Greyhounds, a chance to tie it with 3. Connolly fakes the 3, but nobody's buying that. Kelly thinks about it too. Now, I'd buy that. Kelly likes to shoot from seemingly wherever he's got an open look. He uses the dribble, crosses over, finds an open Cal Connolly, who lets the 3 go in and out. Nice rebound for Brian Bollert. Kelly with it again. You know he's thinking about tying this game. He drives, gives to Rance, and again Bollert has it. Bollert continues to move the ball on the perimeter over to Connolly. Connolly bounce pass to Rance. And now from under the basket, it's in and out. Spate couldn't lay it in. The freshman found himself in a great shooting area, but he just couldn't drop the ball through the cylinder. 20 seconds on the shot clock for Jalen Hall, who finds Cheatham. Cheatham bent the knees as if to go up for a shot instead. Swings it around, and in and out for Holmes. It's bounced back to Hall, though, and Levi Holmes, with the ball in his hands, takes it to the basket in a one-hand jam. Gets everybody up out of their seats and puts St. Michael's College up by 5, 52-47. Look out. It's the 12 Express. And it's a timeout here. St. Mike's with a 5-point lead, just under 14 to play in the second half. We welcome you back inside Ross Sports Center on the campus of St. Michael's College. And you saw those high top shoes for a moment, the golden high tops with the purple light on the soles on President Lorraine Sterrett. That's as cool as it gets. I might have to look into getting me a pair of those. Great work by our camera crew, too. Justin St. Pierre and company finding the president and zooming in on the president's feet. How often do you get to say that? 5-point lead again for St. Mike's. Purple Knights defending Matthew Kelly. Kelly brings the ball up, finds Malik Brown. Brown takes it over to the right side where he hands it off to Connolly. Connolly back to Brown, who's backing down Holmes. And Connolly was out of bounds when he took that pass back. So Assumption turns it over. Those are the kinds of plays you just can't afford when you're a team struggling the way Assumption has lately. Losers of 6 straight coming into this one, just 2-15 in any 10 conference play. 2-10 on the road. It all adds up to an uphill battle today against St. Mike's, and when you factor in Levi Holmes' left hand to go along with his right, it's an even taller task for the Greyhounds, who suddenly find themselves trailing by 7. Kelly, so much spring in his step as he takes the ball over to the far side of the court, takes a return pass from Damian Rance, and now Cal Connolly, the ball carrier. He drives it into the paint, but stops just shy of the NE10 logo. And now a turnaround. Nice power move from Malik Brown to drop it in and close the gap to 5. 54-49. Jalen Hall content to take his pace. Up high to set a pick was Eli DeGrandy. Now DeGrandy comes over to the strong side looking for a pass from Hall. Instead it goes to Holmes the third. Levi Holmes the third, way up high. He finds Alvy Rodriguez. Rodriguez off the bench here in the second half. We did not see him in the first half. That pass went off an Assumption foot out of bounds, so it's still St. Mike's ball, but with just 5 on the shot clock as Guzman checks in for Jalen Hall. So again, just 5 on the shot clock. You've got to have something ready once it's inbounded. Into DeGrandy, hands it off to Guzman. Guzman with 1 to shoot, gets it off, but it's into the hands of Matthew Kelly and turned over. Shot clock violation. 12-13 to play in the second half. Almost halfway through the second half now. Still anybody's game as Kelly, after making the pass, cuts to the hoop and floats back high to get a return pass from Malik Brown. Now he gives it to Brown. A lot of footwork from Brown, was going to say, but the officials say it for me. They blow the whistle. It's traveling. And it's a Purple Knight possession. Chance to build on a 5-point lead. Guzman over the streaking Knight's head. Got to come up with a better name for that logo. And a big block there. Damian Rance absolutely swatting Alvy Rodriguez's chance away. But then another traveling violation, and Purple Knights with the ball. Kind of a gift there to get it back after what was kind of a momentum-turning moment with that block. But as quickly as the momentum was being built, stifled. Levi Holmes, long-range 3. That one's no good. Good rebound by Rodriguez, who dishes it to Cheatham and works it around to Guzman. Guzman starts high with his head up. Over to the left hand on the left side. His pass intended for Cheatham returned to sender, but now it's DeGrand down low, takes the body bump, does not get the shot to go, but he'll have a couple free throws here. Just over 11 minutes to play in the half. DeGrandy, one of 2 Purple Knights with double-digit point totals in the first half. gets his first free throw here. The lead for St. Mike's is 6. It has been as large as 10. DeGrandy's 2 for 2, and the lead slides to 7. St. Mike's led nearly the entire first half, 17 minutes and 18 seconds of it. Though it was the Greyhounds on top by 1 when we resumed play 9 minutes of game time ago. Malik Brown with the ball for the Greyhounds. He gives it to Connolly. Connolly gets it to Spate. Spate takes it to the hole, draws contact, and he'll head to the line for a pair. Spate, another member of this freshman class, which is poised to lead this Assumption program forward. 3 freshmen as key contributors. Spate, certainly one of them after he knocks down his first free throw. Cal Connolly, Chris Crespo, 2 more. Brown sinks them both. It's 56-51 in favor of the Purple Knights. Guzman, taking a page out of Jalen Hall's playbook, slowly starts the offensive attack for St. Michael's. But now he picks up the pace, drives to the basket, too strong. He tried to compensate for the contact he felt coming. Nice job by a duo of Assumption defenders not to levy the heavy body contact that would have most certainly sent Guzman to the line. That's really great defense. And now Connolly, after bringing it across half court, Crespo, after giving it across half court, gives it to Spate. Spate drives again, and he's going to get himself back to the line. And when you find a little wrinkle, a little hole in your opponent's playbook, you're going to keep wiggling your way through until they tighten it up. And the defense down under the basket, soft enough that Brown's been able, or rather Spate's been able to take it in, and now 3 out of 3 at the free throw line his last 2 possessions. Single-handedly closing the gap from 7 to 4. He can cut it to 3 with another make, and he does. 56-53. Some substitutions for St. Mike's. Back to the starting lineup here, plus DeGrandy. DeGrandy's in place of Guzman. Now the pass to him. DeGrandy gives it up to Holmes. Holmes, being guarded by Bollert, gets the shot off, but it's no good. Rebound for Fleming, and Fleming will dribble it across half court. And now dish down towards the corner. Bollert's 3 is short. Off a few hands, it bounces to Holmes. Holmes is going to pull up. And pardon me, Guzman is on the court. He has the ball. He lets it fly, and he's long with the 3. And the slow down signal given by Fleming after he collected his second rebound in as many trips. Now it's Spate. He's got the hot hand. He misses the 3, but the ball is swatted right back to him. He hands it off to Chris Crespo. And the freshman guard, Crespo, swings it to Bollert on the right. And now it's Fleming. Fleming back to Crespo. Great ball movement. And they get the wide open 3. Brian Bollert buries it to tie the game at 56 with 9:05 to play in the second half. Here's Hall. Hall gives it off to Jones. And Holmes for 3. 59-56. You can see the wheels turning on both sides as this game is settled into a back-and-forth affair. The timeout called by Assumption College will step away with 8:47 to play in the second half, and the Purple Knights on top by 3 at 59-56. A one-possession game, 8:47 on the clock. What more could you ask for in the second half of our NE10 now? St. Mike's Assumption doubleheader just prior to the break. The three-pointer from Levi Holmes III to snap the 56-all tie. And that'll be an Assumption inbound and a chance to tie it up again. Assumption's been playing the last handful of minutes without starting point guard Matthew Kelly, and the offense has still been moving in large part owing to that man, Michael Spate, who banked it in to make it a one-point game. Now Guzman for St. Mike's from the corner heaves it up top to Holmes. Good aggressive defensive play and a timeout called by Assumption's Cal Connolly to keep possession for the Greyhounds. We'll take another quick break. 59-58, St. Mike's. Right on cue, Matthew Kelly checks back into the game for the Assumption Greyhounds. He's got the ball in his hands. His team trailing by just 1 point with 8:20 to play in the second half. The Assumption women's basketball team let a fourth quarter lead slip away. St. Mike's looking to make it a clean sweep of the Greyhounds today if the men can pull away and claim victory here this evening. What an athletic play by Jalen Hall, leaving his feet and trying to send the ball into a teammate. Instead, it was just a heavy fall and a giveaway, but no harm done as the shot wouldn't fall for Matthew Kelly, so it's still a 1 point St. Mike's lead. And Jalen Hall has the ball again. He was wincing as he came up, and you can understand why. He was airborne about 6 feet of him off the ground. Gravity hurts. He's waiting in the corner, now comes towards Guzman, gave him some help, gives it back to Guzman. With just 4 seconds on the shot clock, he pulls up, and he'll take 3 free throws as Patrick Fleming got him on the hand. From a defensive perspective, that's like your worst nightmare, but you really have to credit Guzman for the smart pump fake that got Fleming off his feet and allowed him to lean in to draw the foul. Sometimes all you have to do is leave your feet, and you will be, or get a defender rather, to leave their feet. You'll be rewarded with a trip to the line. And that's what we're getting here from Guzman. Makes the first of 3. Second one up and short. And a whole bunch of bodies come off the bench for both sides. Alvy Rodriguez, Winston Jones the second back in for St. Michael's College. Damian Rance back in for Assumption. Guzman's third free throw goes, and it's a 3-point lead for the Knights at 61-58. Matthew Kelly pressured by Guzman as soon as he gets to the line. Swings it over to Fleming. Up top to Brown. Brown to Spate. Spate thought about feeding Fleming down in the post. Instead, they work it around to the weak side. Now Kelly with the left hand jumps, dishes to Spate. Spate being guarded well by Rodriguez. Has to give it to Fleming. 5 to shoot. He's up with the baseline jumper that goes. Matthew Fleming makes it a 1-point game again. Guzman slows it down on the left side now as he works it towards center court. Takes a return feed from Levi Holmes III. Holmes starts his way towards the basket, and he has it taken away. Here comes Kelly driving up with the left hand and lays it in. Assumption back in front. It's 62-61 with 6.5 minutes left in the second half. What we're seeing here is 2 markedly different styles. Assumption really likes to push the pace. St. Mike's content to play a half-court setup game. Levi Holmes brought it in, backed it out. Long range jump shot for 3 points. And the Knights take the lead as they trade it. Approaching the final 6 minutes of regulation time. Kelly gives it here to Brown, takes it back. Brown sets a screen. Kelly gives it to Brown, who continues it over to Spate. Spate goes up with the right hand, and he'll go back to the line where he's done some damage here in the second half. He was kind of frustrated with himself as we look at a really deep three ball from Levi Holmes. But Spate, even after knowing he was going to the free throw line, was frustrated with himself for not using his left hand to try and lay it in. His first free throw is up and good. And another one would tie it. The game was never tied in the first half after 0-0. We've seen it tied a couple times here in the last few minutes. And it is again, 64 all. Remember, the only other head-to-head meeting between these two teams went to overtime this year, November 28th. It was an 82-81 win for the Purple Knights down in Worcester. Now it's to Grandy, handing it off to Guzman. He basically left it on a platter for Guzman, who drives and has his shot blocked. The block was from Rance, but the foul was called on Patrick Fleming underneath the basket. Watch the footwork here from Guzman. Up and under, and Fleming was just crossed up. Couldn't get himself out of the way. Guzman makes the free throw to snap the deadlock. If you're Guzman, too, you have to hear Rance coming. He's not somebody who sneaks up on you, and he came in to swat it away. It's a clean block. All for naught as Guzman gets 2 points. St. Mike's takes a timeout, and we will take it as well. A 2-point game with 5.5 to play in the second. It's St. Mike's 66-64. Assumption will take the ball out from beneath the basket, trailing by a pair. I'm quite happy to go back and forth, possession by possession. A look at Josh Meyer, St. Mike's coach, who was hired by Assumption's coach, Michael Harding. Harding was the head coach here at St. Mike's for 3 seasons, beginning in 2010 and wrapping up in 2013. But he has left his mark on this program, no question about it. Backing down a defender there and going up too strong was Malik Brown, then bodies to the floor. What's the call going to be? I haven't seen a jump ball signal, but as the Greyhounds retreat, it will be St. Mike's ball. So the ball and the lead, and a chance to bring it down under 5 minutes. Guzman will work it up court. There has not been any pressure put on by the Greyhounds as St. Mike's works the ball up court at a leisurely pace throughout the game. The Purple Knights, by contrast, have occasionally turned on a little press. Guzman, nifty move to get to the hole, but no finish, so Kelly with a chance to tie it here as he drives, goes up with the left, and he gets the English down the hole. 66 all. Scoreboard has it as 68-64. They gave those 2 points to the Purple Knights. And now a long-range three. And 3 more free throws coming for the Purple Knights. Derek Cheatham was fouled as he went up from long range by Cal Connolly. And they'll work to correct the score ahead of these 3 free throws. Not a lot of contact out there. Kind of a careless defensive play, the kind of foul you just can't afford. And I think they're going to, well, they have fixed it. They weren't going to let him shoot the free throws till they get the score corrected. And it's still correct at 66 all as Cheatham misses the first. Put St. Mike's back in front, 67-66. Michael Spate back into the game along with Patrick Fleming. Pretty fluid bench for the Greyhounds. And again, that sort of mirrors the way the women's game went too. The Assumption women's team was a lot more free-flowing with their substitutions, whereas the Knights like to keep the same group together for extended periods of time. Now it's Kelly moving to his left. He gave up the dribble maybe a half second too soon. There was some daylight as soon as he gave it up. But now he has it back again with 10 to shoot. He lets it fly. Halfway down, but then out. Rebounded by Eli DeGrande. And with 3:55, St. Mike's could turn it into a three-possession game, or rather a two-possession game with a three-pointer. The ball in Cheatham's hands. He swings it to DeGrande. Over to Guzman. Guzman trying to find Levi Holmes the third, and it's out of bounds. A turnover. And a substitution for St. Mike's. Alvy Rodriguez in for Cheatham, who immediately doesn't go to the bench, but takes a walk to the corner and gets checked on by a member of the coaching staff. We hope we see him again here today. One of the four seniors honored before this one got underway. Three ball goes up. It's short, rebounded by Rodriguez. And here comes Guzman. That nice, steady pace. He can take the game clock down under 3 minutes. The entire Purple Knights team can, of course. Guzman thought about going up with the shot there. Thought better of it. Gets it to Rodriguez. They play catch. In on the drive. Up off the glass, and it goes. Good defense being played by Damian Rance, but not good enough. This has been a half that's really belonged to Jordan Guzman, the junior, who over the course of his last 4 games has really turned his play up a level, averaging nearly 15 points on just about 45% shooting per game. And St. Mike's follows up that great offensive possession with a stop, and now a chance to take it down to just about 2 minutes. And I'd be surprised if they do anything but use up the entire shot clock, which is already down to 15. Guzman just dribbling up high, being guarded by Michael Spate. He gets a screen from DeGrande, who sets a second screen to free Holmes the third, who goes up with the shot. It's off the front rim and out. Alvy Rodriguez with the rebound, and Levi Holmes collects the pass, drives towards the basket. He has his left arm held, and he will go to the line for 2 shots. You love the aggressive nature of Levi Holmes' game. There's a spot, though, where you wonder, do the coaching staff prefer that he took the chance to drive towards the basket, or would they have liked to see 25 seconds come off the clock before the shot? If he makes these free throws, I think that answers the question, as that's a big point to turn it into a 4-point ball game with 121 seconds to play. Second free throw up and no good. Rebounded by Damian Rance. So inside 2 minutes, Purple Knights by 4. Kelly hands it off to Michael Spate. Spate goes between the legs to the left hand, pulls up, 3 points, no good. Rebounded by Eli DeGrande, who gives it to Guzman. Jordan Guzman's had no trouble being patient. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. A minute and a half on the game clock. A bucket here by the Purple Knights wouldn't be lethal, but boy, would it sting. Here's Cheatham back into the game, feeling all right. He changes direction, goes up with the right hand, misses, but there's DeGrande to clean it up, put it back, and put the Purple Knights ahead by 6. 72-66 the score. A minute 14 remaining. We'll step away and come right back for the conclusion from Ross Sports Center right after this. We've got a good one going here with a minute 14 to play and a 2-possession game. The Assumption Greyhounds will have the basketball in a nearly must-score possession. Matthew Kelly leading the Greyhounds with 19 points, but he hasn't been able to match Levi Holmes III, who leads all scorers today with 29 on 11 for 19 shooting, including 4 of 8 from three-point range. Kelly takes the pass back from Patrick Fleming, and here we go. Assumption with the ball. Kelly to his right. They find Spate in the corner. He drives, dishes back out for a long-range jump shot that doesn't go for Brian Bollert. Guzman with the rebound. He can bring this game down to its final half minute. Will Assumption foul? Holmes, the ball carrier. He started in, pulls it back out. The Purple Knights are going to want to take this down to the final second of the shot clock, and if at that time they're able to get one to drop, could be curtains. Here's Cheatham. Crosses over, thinks about the jumper, instead gives it to Holmes. Holmes fades away, puts it up, rebounded, and sent out by Jones. Guzman gets fouled. The Purple Knights with a 6-point lead are sending Jordan Guzman to the line with a chance to finish it. You know, everybody in this building wanted to see that fadeaway go for Holmes to get him up over 30 points. Tremendous contributor to this program for 4 full seasons as Guzman makes the free throw that makes it a 7-point game, 73-66. And remember, Holmes was averaging 19.9 a game this year coming into today, so he'll head into his next game with a 20-plus per game scoring average. Spate drives. DeGrande meets him. Bothers the shot enough that it doesn't go. Spate headed to the line where he's spent a lot of time this second half, but he really needed to get that bucket and the foul in order to pull his team back into a position where they can pull a rabbit out of a hat and maybe force overtime. He gets the first free throw. That makes it a 7-point game again at 74-67. Are we in intentionally missed territory yet? Don't think so. That one was intended to go. It didn't. Cheatham has it. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line. Starting to become academic at this point. If Cheatham sinks both of these, well, he'd do his team a whole lot of good. He's had a relatively quiet day. 10 points below his season average, just 7. Make it 8. Looks like when it's all said and done, it will have been a heck of a day for St. Mike's basketball. A 9-point lead with 15.6 seconds here in the men's game against Assumption after the women came from behind in the fourth quarter and earned a victory by 8 points. Kelly's 3 off the rim, over the backboard, out of play. And at this point, if you're the Greyhounds, do you even foul? Jalen Hill checks into the game to get all 4 seniors on the court at once. President Lorraine Sterrett high-fiving her fellow fans at center court. And I'm not sure what that horn sound was for, but there will be no foul. Jalen Hull will dribble out the last 2 seconds, and the St. Michael's College Purple Knights will celebrate back-to-back victories, men's and women's, over the Assumption College Greyhounds by nearly identical scores. The women winning 77-69, the men 76-67. They complete the season series sweep of the Greyhounds, and in the process improve the record to 7-16 overall and 4-14 in the conference, while dropping Assumption to a 6-19 mark overall and a 2-16 mark in NE10 play. The loss for Assumption is its 7th straight. The win for St. Mike's is the 2nd in the last 4 games and just the 3rd in the 2019 calendar year. Well, certainly hope you enjoyed 2 really well-played, hotly contested games this Saturday at St. Mike's. Certainly enjoyed bringing them to you, and I look forward to bringing you more St. Mike's basketball in just over a week's time, when we will have more doubleheader action against Merrimack College. But one last time, your final score here in the men's half of the doubleheader, 76-67. Purple Knights claim victory for the 2nd time over the Greyhounds this year. For the entire NE10 Now production crew, headed by Justin St. Pierre, this is Craig Durham saying so long and good afternoon from Colchester, Vermont. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.